Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about a cool guitar effect that I created for a song called Blindside from the artist Abbie Ahmad. This was a kind of a fun accident that happened when we were tracking this song. That I set up two guitar amplifiers and I used a tape delay to split out the feed. So it was almost stereo, except it wasn't completely ping-ponging. So what would happen is when it came out the tape echo, output 1 would go straight to the amp, and output 2 would take the delay and shoot it to the other amp. So it would go sound the first amp and then repeats to the second amp. So it wasn't like it was constantly going back and forth. But what was neat about this is that I set the repeat time to be really fast. It was like only a couple of milliseconds, so it was barely even a slap back. It was just really almost kind of like an ambient echo. But because it was taped, I was using the full tone tube tape echo, which you could see here. And I had it on the slow tape speed so that the tape warbles a little bit. And anybody that has a tape echo knows how this is like an amazing feature because it just creates this real gentle kind of chorusing effect. But what was really neat is it was reacting to the way that Abbie was playing the guitar. She was playing a Gibson Melody Maker with a P90 pickup on this. And what she was doing is when she was voicing the guitar, she would be playing and she would be just putting ever so slight little vibrato on certain notes, and it would go into the tape echo. And I think with the warbling, it would just kind of create this neat kind of broken chorusy kind of effect that I could have never created with a typical chorus pedal or mod plugin. What I did with the miking with this is I pretty much put the amps right next to each other. One of them was a Victoria 510, which is a small Tweed champ. It's a remake of a 1959 Tweed champ with an 8-inch speaker. And the other amp was a vintage Ampeg bass head. I ran into a closed back cabinet with greenback 25s in it. Close mic'd each of those amps right next to each other, but then I also used a Geffel UM92 back, I believe in Omni mode, just to kind of pick up the room sound, so I was going to blend them all together. And when you put all these three signals together, this unexpected sound came out that was really lovely. Let's take a listen to it really quick and check out what I was talking about.
This road you ride, a steady decline, curves run deep, risk is steep. What's around the next bend?
We're still in the process of recording this song, so I'm going to pull apart this rough mix we have now, and we can solo each of these guitar tracks and hear how they're affecting each other. So this first one is the Ampeg. Nice glassy, clean tone. It's a 100-watt amp. Okay, let's listen to the Victoria now, which is a 5-watt amp. A little more of a mellower tone, right? Got a little more mid-range action happening. Let's listen to the room mic. Now, this is picking up both the amps summed. Now we really hear what's happening between those two amps with the tape delay. So when I add that in with the two other mics, you notice I have the panning split up a little bit, so it just kind of creates a wider dimension. Now you'll notice on the guitar bus here, I have a send going out to this PSP spring box that I like, just to give a little bit more space to it. This is where I also have the vocal running through. This would be really hard to recreate with a plugin, because I think what you're hearing a little bit is the weirdness of just a tape echo being a machine, and you're hearing probably what initially were faults in the device, which now are coveted traits, right? So this opens up the conversation about splitting signals to 2 amps and seeing how you can treat both of those splits differently, right? So like amp 1 can always be clean, and you could do some fun things with the second amp like I did, but use like a delay and make sure that it's 100% wet. So then you can hold it off like maybe like 10 milliseconds or something. So when you hit a note, it goes right to the first amp, and it's just a little delay to the second amp. Maybe with that delayed signal, also put like an overdrive on that, or a phaser, or a flanger, or a pitch shifter, or something. I would try any pedal that you can find and just see what happens. So when they're just delayed ever so slightly, and how the notes react to like you're playing your vibrato and stuff like that. You could create some very interesting dimensional effects this way.